Hopefully you can see my screen. It says what's new in Smartsheet. Hopefully that's why you want to spend the next half hour listening to me talk, and you are bringing questions and exciting things forward as well. For those of you that haven't met me yet, my name is Molly Yanus. I am the founder and a solution architect here at Echo Consulting. I think I might have an intro slide, so let's just do that really quick. So Echo Consulting, we are all about work management, project management that fits, really sitting at that intersection between people, process, and technology. Smartsheet's one of our leading tools. It's really awesome. We talk a lot about solutioneer, so how to enable people to solve problems with technology, process, and people. We really like to focus on transparency, accountability, all that other good stuff. Most of you we've either worked with or you already have Smartsheet and you have some ideas of what works and what doesn't work, and you're here today to learn more, which is great because you're in the right place. Again, Molly Yanus, founder, solution architect, love Smartsheet. Let's see here, I'm the question queen. So one of the things I'll just say for any of my webinars, or this isn't really a webinar, this is gonna be more of a question and answer, but I'm gonna show you guys some cool stuff. So definitely don't hesitate to ask a question, especially if I'm going too fast or speaking too fast and I've lost you. You can ask questions either in the chat. You can ask questions by literally raising your hand with the little raise hand thing, or honestly, you can interrupt me. I won't be insulted. So with that, I'm going to just do a couple of slides to get going. What, guys? All right, I'm having trouble hearing echo, so someone needs to get muted. All right, guys, here we go. So on the screen, you should see Smartsheet Advance. And I want to mention this because it's important. As we go through the product updates today, I really am going to try to focus on core, but there are some key updates that happen to some of the advanced capabilities of Smartsheet outside of their core. So when I'm talking about Smartsheet Advance, when I'm talking about non-core, we're talking about Control Center. Work Apps is part of core if you're enterprise, Data Shuttle, Dynamic View. All of these are kind of part of their packaged offering of Advance. Then there's also these components that are their integrators that Smartsheet supports. And then there's these pieces that are actually what we call add-ons, but they're specifically, they actually have different licensing. So if you're using resource management, if you're using brand folder, you're actually paying for Smartsheet licensing, you're paying for Smartsheet Advanced most likely, and you're paying for this. So I don't want to get too deep into Advanced. If you guys have licensing questions, happy to do a one-on-one. But today I'm going to try to focus most of my time on the actual core. So if you have really Smartsheet core and kind of some of the new stuff there, but we'll probably touch on at least a couple of the things that are happening in some of their advanced platform components. Smartsheet, when this is actually like one of their sales slides, right? So they're really trying to show you like how the breadth of their solution, right? So along with some other PPMs in the space or other work management, right? They're saying, hey guys, there's Smartsheet for project management, there's Smartsheet for marketing, there's Smartsheet for finance, there's all these different modules. I mean, it's the same tool set, right? They're just trying to like let you know that there's lots of different use cases that Smartsheet can be used for. When they talk about Advance, I showed you like the actual specific components, but they talk about it in terms of portfolio management. Guess what? This is Control Center. Governance and administration. This is kind of Control Center and Admin Center. Process management. They're just talking about, they're breaking down their add-ons a little bit differently, and they're starting to do some rebranding here again, because as Smartsheet really expands into the enterprise market, they're trying to rebrand and kind of become more of a platform and less of these individual add-on tools throughout. So I did call out, right, brand folder and resource management. These are both components that require additional licensing. These pieces are the advanced capabilities, what we have previously known as calendar app or dynamic view and things like that. And then for Smartsheet, again, they're really trying to tell you that, hey guys, you can do lots of different things on Smartsheet, like project intake, project management. Hey guys, team collaboration. They're talking about the functionality of mentioning. They're talking about proofing. So we're going to actually talk more, I would say, technical and less salesy, and like, hey, these are the specific features that you can use in Smartsheet. But I do want to just let you know that as you hear more of their marketing messages and things like that, they're trying to kind of change the way that they talk about it in more of a platform way. When you talk about integrations, they really are investing in more integrations, and this is a maturity model, right? So Smartsheet really is trying to join places with where you see Microsoft going, where you see some of the more enterprise level PPMs. And so they are starting to integrate with more of the ERPs, right? They are starting to integrate with some of the CRMs. So we've been asked for a long time, like, hey guys, can you integrate this with HubSpot, for example, for some of our smaller clients and things like that? And they've had workarounds, but they really are starting to build out that marketplace of integrations, which is great to see. Additionally, they do want you to know that, hey, Smartsheet, you know, they can pay, they have services as well, and they have some support that they're working on as well as some training. So this is the way Smartsheet articulates it. We're going to actually go into the system and be a little bit more specific. So I actually wanted to give you guys a couple of team highlights from a couple of the couple of our Smartsheet gurus here at Echo. So Kelly has been working on several clients rolling out resource management. That's one of their kind of additional platforms, and she's really loving the fact that there's an auto sync, which is I'm thrilled about too. It's going to make it, they're really working on closer integrations between some of their bigger platforms that they've acquired. And so resource management is one of them. And then additionally, Lisa actually called out, right? She's actually liking the desktop app. So Smartsheet for the longest time has just been a browser oriented, but now you do have the desktop app, which is kind of cool. And then also a couple of updates on the dashboards we'll show you today about how to add links to the actual titles within dashboards, so you're not having to kind of add a separate link there. So thank you, Kelly. Thank you, Lisa, for weighing in on some of your favorite new features here from Echo. If you have not done so, there are two things that I always recommend our clients do, right? Sign up for Smartsheet's latest release. They're just going to be releasing new features faster and faster and faster. And so often we end up getting in there and then there's those notifications being like, oh, hey, by the way, we have this new piece here. So I actually recommend getting this into your email. You can subscribe to those updates. If you have not done it yet, please also subscribe to their updates for when they might have system down issues or one of their functionality pieces isn't working. They're doing a lot of investment on the infrastructure, the performance of Smartsheet. And so we are seeing some bugs here and there and things coming up. And so it's nice to say, hey, like, why isn't my report refreshing or something like that, and knowing that they're aware of it. So definitely do that. So for right now, we're going to talk product release news, but if you have not signed up for product release news to get updates on it, it'll go right to your email. And then also you can sign up for alerts if their platform is having any trouble. All right, so I'm going to actually just bring right up the release news, and we're going to kind of walk through this so that you can kind of find your own stuff, right? So again, they want you to update it. What you'll see down here is that you can see all the different categories of the different releases that they have, right? So you can actually narrow it down to only be core app. So when I'm talking about core app, what am I talking about? I'm talking about sheets. I'm talking about reports. I'm talking about dashboards, right? But when I'm talking about the other pieces and premium add-ons, right? That's when I'm talking about data shuttle. That's when I'm talking about data table and things like that. Does everyone understand kind of Smartsheet core app versus their premium add-ons? And then when you talk about premium products, the way they talk about it, that's when you have to pay more money, usually. Well, I don't know why they're separating out premium add-ons versus premium products. So anyways, for right now, we're going to be focusing on kind of the, actually, maybe it's because I double selected. I don't know why it's not. Okay, anyways, we're going to focus on core app today. So let me go from there, right? So look, guys, Fullscreen Attachment is now available. New and improved sharing reminder emails available for everyone that wanted to be able to brand their sharing emails and make them look better. Like, that's awesome. Visual refresh of column properties. So again, you can see this here. You can sort this by relevance and you can sort this by newest. So when did they actually release this component? Okay, so I usually just go to the product release news up here, and I just kind of want to see their actual releases. And so you'll see that the most recent release was resource management, and it was literally like less than a week ago. And that's kind of actually what Kelly's talking about, which is you can auto sync save. So I can click in here, I can come up here, it's going to tell me this information, right, about what it is. It can tell me what the plan type is that will actually get this. And then again, it shows you commercial, learn, you know, all this other stuff. Sometimes they'll actually provide like a video or some more marketing on this so that it's actually more. But I typically just go to the release notes and then go from there, okay? So I'm going to go into the app in just a second. But does everyone understand that Smartsheet default, there's EU, And this is more from the privacy situation and making sure that the data stays in Europe. And then there's Smartsheet Gov, which actually is a different platform that has different releases. This is really important, especially for Echo, because we have clients that are on Smartsheet Gov and clients that are on commercial, and the way things get rolled out to Gov are different than commercial. So I don't know if I have any other consultants on the line, but just be aware that it is important, like you're seeing the difference there. So I'm going to start with Smartsheet default. I'm not going to be talking too much about resource management right now. I am going to be primarily focused on the core app in this case. And so I'm going to go here. And so the first thing we're going to talk a little bit about is actually kind of the improved update and approval request emails, because this is something that a lot of people wanted, right? So if you see here, the ability to update the email for the update and make it look a lot nicer than maybe all the fields that you have is now available. So let's go ahead and we will click on update request, and then we'll go in here. And this was available across everything. So whether you have business, whether you have enterprise, whether you just have a single license, this is available. So they're only going to show sheet links to the email recipients that have access to the sheet, which is also really cool. So let's go ahead and go to an update request in Smartsheet. I don't know if you guys are familiar with it, right? I'm hoping that people have set update requests in Smartsheet. Let me go here and log in. Now, for those of you that were following along, Melissa, someone, can you guys put in chat the release, the product release link, or I might even be able to do that. And that way, if you guys are looking through and you have any questions on specific features that you want more information on, you can ping us, and I will try to make it to that feature. Otherwise, you are pretty much just stuck with me saying the things that I like, and that's kind of the point of the fireside chat, right? All right, so here I am. I'm logging into Smartsheet demo, and we're going to go to the update email and kind of show you what that looks like. All right. The other big one is if you guys haven't seen it in the last 6 months and really noticed how the search functionality has changed, it's probably my favorite. So I'm going to go ahead here. Let's just do it from the Echo Content Hub. Melissa, don't get too worried, or Melissa, Lisa. All right, so here I'm going to my automation, right? And from automations, you'll notice, again, if you haven't really been looking that closely over the last 6, you can see that you can create workflows from templates or from scratch. They have been adding some more content here in terms of help stuff too, really moving towards that self-service platform as much as possible. So I usually like to, I'm going to pick up this template library just because it's really expanded over the last 6 months, right? So I can see here all of the different ones. If you're used to Microsoft, if you're used to some of the other enterprise platforms, ServiceNow, et cetera, like this is going to look more familiar to you in terms of the different types. And you can actually search this now. So I can go update, right? And I can actually say, okay, here are all the templated update requests. So one of the things that I love, we use Microsoft Teams, but a lot of our clients, especially the development clients, use Slack. So they've kind of called these specifically out here, which is really nice. But then there's some other ones that they have available as well. So I did the update. And so let's see here. Do I want to start from here? Let's do this one. Okay, so when I click on this, it's telling me how do I use this template, right? And then I can use the template. It's going to pull it up and it's going to start me from somewhere. All right, anytime I am doing an automation, now we are consultants, so we do a lot of automations. We do some more complex ones for some of our clients, right? It is absolutely critical that the workflow is named a way that you can actually understand what you're trying to do. Okay, so I'm going to say, for example, send update request, or actually see how this says alert, right? I'm actually going to switch this because I don't like alerts. I like update requests so I can actually do something with it. So I'm going to request an update here. And so I'm going to say send update request, right? When task complete for right now, okay? Or when published task is complete. Something like that. So when rows are added, again, I'm hoping that you guys are familiar with automation. There isn't that much change here, right? But I'm just going to say, okay, so when the status changes to complete, right? And the publish, and you don't need to know the data set here, right? But is in the past. for example, request an update, okay? So this is where the piece changes. So anytime you're requesting an update, ideally you're sending a request to an update to a person that's in a specific cell. In this case, because I'm making it up, I'm just gonna send it to myself just to prove that I can do that, right? And then I'm gonna customize the message, okay? So this is where we already had this customizing the message. You can add the subject, you can have this, you can have the specific fields. I'm always going to select the specific fields here that I actually want to do. Otherwise, it shows all the fields and it looks like crap. And then, so I'm just going to go here. I'm going to go to specific fields. Let me just put add an attachment. Let's see here, top 3. Let's stage status. So I'm just picking a couple of the things assigned to start, finish. Okay. And then here I'm going to say, let's see here, publish, task, complete. Now, one of the things, if you guys aren't familiar with this, right, they're telling you it right here. You can use these double pieces to actually customize this. The reason that you might not want to include this is that then that means that each email is going to go out separately if you put the actual task name in here. So again, this is more of a gotcha that I just try to remind our clients on, because if you want them to go all together in a single one, you're probably not going to want to have the message, the subject be specific to a task name, because then each task name happens. So if I want to go up here, right, and this is saying when triggered, but like, let's say I want to get a daily digest or a weekly digest of all of the things that have been published, like I want a daily digest, I'm not going to want to put the name of the task in here, or I'm going to get a separate email for each of those. Does that make sense to everyone? No, maybe? Okay, well, I'm going to keep going unless someone tells me, right? So I'm going to go ahead and save this and then go there, okay? Alrighty. So actually, you know what? I made this daily, so it's not actually going to show up. So let me just do this here. Let me just make this for right now. I'm not doing a daily digest. I'm going to go here. I'm going to click save. Okay. I'm going back to my Echo Hub. I'm going to do a fake task here, test task. And I'm going to put in a publish date of yesterday because we're already late on this. I'm going to go ahead and save it, right? And then I'm going to go ahead and mark this as closed. Okay, save. So anyways, so that's coming up, will come up. All right, so now let's look at some of the search functionality while we're waiting for that email to come out, right? So I'm going to go ahead. It already looks like it came up. So let me just bring that over. But so now I'm going to just say, okay, Echo, because I know I have a lot of stuff here. So see here how I have Echo and all of it populates down, and it's automatically giving me kind of the information about what's current. But if I click on more results, right, it's popping up a brand new section for search, and it's searching based on its algorithm, right? So it's doing it based on recommended. Oftentimes I'm looking for date modified, right? But now I can actually, I can go here and I can really filter down even further. So I can say, okay, I'm only looking in this workspace, for example, or I'm looking anywhere. I can only look for things that have been updated in a certain period of time. I can only look at specific things, right? So if I want to only be looking in sheet names, I can narrow this down, and it's just like a filter, and it's only going to update here, right? Super easy. I can go right here. Everyone understand, like, this is something that had been hard before. I like to navigate via search. Smartsheet is trying its best to catch up in terms of navigation. That's why you're seeing them roll out work apps. That's why you're seeing them roll out more functionality that's like project based, but in the or permissioning based on projects. But this search functionality can definitely help you if you struggle like I do with the multiple clicks and everything with dealing with different navigation, right? So they're trying to get there. They're trying to get there by giving you your home screen. They're trying to get there by giving you recents versus favorites and all that other stuff, right? But the search functionality is really powerful, and definitely more and more I am going ahead and using that functionality. Let me bring up the example of the communication that I have really quick. Don't look at my inbox and the fact that I don't go ahead and actually respond to my emails. Let's see here. Why isn't it opening up? Okay, great. So let me just bring up over here. Sorry, I'm trying to bring it up from Outlook and it's taking a second, guys. No, now it's completely paused. Well, that's great. All right, so here's one way to do this, right? So the other one I just want to mention, let's see here. So for announcements and things like that, this can be helpful again for enterprise. If you guys haven't used some of the admin functionality, you can. If you have a feature or something that is bothering you, they've made this very easy for you right here. You now have direct access to give this. Why can't I get my email to drag over onto the screen? Are you guys seeing this? It's just being really slow. This is Outlook, not Smartsheet, guys, I promise. Okay, so see here, it's telling me right now, publish task complete, right? I can open up my task and you can see kind of the way that it looks here is definitely updated from what it used to be. If you're not familiar with this, here you go. Since I have access to the underlying sheet, I can go ahead and actually just go, or I can open the request. If I open the request, remember that it's bringing me to request sheet. And if I have multiple, I'm going ahead to be able to, go through multiple different updates. So if I had to update the status of tasks that were due today or something, I'm just going through. So no major updates in kind of how you provide the update request. The most of the updates is in how the actual email pops up. It's just way more, I would say, user friendly and looks nicer and everything what they did. So they are looking for more feedback. If you have something that you are interested in or something that's bothering you, you can do it right from the platform. They have a pretty strong community. If you haven't been part of the Smartsheet community, they're definitely looking in for enhancement requests and drawing that into there. Do I have any requests yet? You guys are quiet. That's fine. You know that I can talk. I'll just keep going. So if we go to view all release notes, if no one's asking for additional specific things, I'm going to go back here and let's talk about the next thing on their list further back. Okay, so we've got desktop app. I don't actually like the desktop app, but I mean, for people that are just using it, maybe aren't actually like architecting from it, I think it's probably more useful, but for me, I don't really like it as much. So let's go back to the core. I'm already in Control Center. Here we go. I'm going down to release notes. I'm going to core app. Let's see what's next. New and improved update emails. We already said that. Enterprise plans, safe sharing and publishing controls. That's really cool for admin, but not everyone has enterprise. Let's look here. Allows customers to view the attachment in full screen mode. Let's do that. I know that I showed this on a different video recently. So let's go into our sheet again. Let's go into Content Hub. Has everyone, I just did a video released, I think in the last couple of weeks, Melissa, about being able to add images into an actual cell. So for those of you guys that haven't done that yet, let's just go ahead and add an image to a cell. Oh, this is a drop down. Let's do it here. So I'm right clicking here and I can go ahead and insert an image. So for anyone that has this hooked up to OneDrive, Box, etc., this is really nice. You can actually quickly update kind of like a picture or a file right in here. Obviously, you still have the functionality where you can go ahead and do that at a row level, but now you can do it like in a specific cell. So this is really helpful, I think, for like marketing or something like that, where you might have a couple of different versions of this. Let me just go ahead and pull this in here, and I want to show you what I mean by like being able to do the full screen mode. Okay, so you're seeing in here, I inserted the image, right? If I click on this, it's going to let me bring it up here, right? And I can change the title of it. I can download the image. So full screen mode. Any questions about that? I know some of my marketing peeps are really happy about that. For anyone that hasn't been exploring the right-hand menu recently, they have released something that's called Work Insights. So again, if you're a Microsoft shop, you're definitely going to be seeing more of this. Like, how are they using your data to tell you how things are going? So this Work Insight is to be able to see, okay, so there were 846 rows, and these are the statuses. So look, 260 are complete, blank. So can we create this in an actual dashboard and share this out with everyone? Yes, but look at it. Now they're actually going ahead and providing us some of these insights directly in the sheet, which is really cool. And you can go ahead and start to actually do more information about specific fields. And so again, a lot of this insight stuff is coming. They're really going to be driving hard, I think, to more self-service dashboards. So some of these graphics and things like that we previously had to do in reports and in even metric sheets, like more and more, they're going to be making this self-service. So you really don't have to be a developer in order to get some of this information. You really don't have to be that tech. So I'm going to go ahead and just add an insight just as an example. This was last updated. I can go ahead and manually refresh. So if I wanted to, I can do a column snapshot, a time series, or crosstabs, right? So I'm going to do a column series just to give you guys an example here. And I can pick, similar to how you guys were doing it in the automations, right? I can pick what the specific column that I'm looking for is. So I can look at all columns or I can look at a specific column. So in this case, I kind of want to use my publish column. Why can't I use it? Because publish column is a date. So you're going to need to be doing something that's like a drop down, right? So content type, for example, I can change this and then I can even filter this information down by a specific value, right? So like I want to say, okay, what are we publishing for, I don't know, client success stories, right? And then you can kind of see this over time. And I can look at this as a monthly view or a weekly view or something like that. So look at this insight. This is really exciting stuff and they are just getting started. Right? So very excited about this. If you haven't seen Work Insights, I highly recommend that you check it out. Okay. Resource management. Yeah.
Molly, quick question. How would you input that onto a dashboard? Is it the 3 little dots there?
Yeah, no, it's not yet.
Okay.
So it's not. So honestly, it's literally within the sheet, right?
Okay.
Now, but like this is kind of the building blocks,
first step,
right?
The first step. Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Cool. Thanks.
So it's the same rollout that Microsoft had and that Google had, right? They're starting to provide insights specifically to you as a user. Then they're going to provide insights to like a specific sheet. But like, see how this is so much easier than creating a report, creating a metric sheet, and then adding it to the dashboard, right? This is the building block that's going to get you there. So you can now start duplicating what you previously had done probably in conditional formatting or in a automation. Same concept, right? But we're doing it here. But yeah, no, I'm excited. It's going to get added to a dashboard soon, but for right now, it's sheet specific, and you can use this, and then if someone else wants to go in and look at it, they can see it too. All right. And again, you can kind of expand it out. And so if you're familiar with other tools, like in all honesty, right? Like this is kind of what Monday and Asana and some of their competitors have. So Smartsheet still is like way ahead of their competitors in some of the flexibility of the dashboards that they have, but they're still way behind something like Power BI or Tableau. But they're kind of backtracking on some of the functionality and some of the like prettier widgets that some of their kind of lower end or the, I would say, more SMB competitors have. But like this is the building block that they're going to be looking for as they head into, again, the more enterprise to really build out some of that. You've already kind of seen it in some of the dashboard functionality that they have, like the ability to click in and be able to multi-level filter and things. So that's definitely coming. But
can you take that view? Can you take that URL right there and put it on a work app page? Like that URL right there, you put that in as a work app page. Would it take somebody right there if they have access to the sheet?
Maybe. Let's try it out, right? I mean, let's try it out.
That gets around your dashboard, Rachel. You could just put that on a work app and
right, exactly.
Show that expanded insight page.
But again, this is sheet specific right now for the most part.
Yeah, they would need all that other stuff, but I was just curious because usually you can put any URL in there as long as you have access.
So right now, no.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Right now, no.
I hate that red little warning. I'm like, oh man.
Yeah, but again, guys, dream with me here. Dream with me, right? Like, look at how cool this is. This is going to be so awesome, right? Like, we're going to be able to roll these out. So again, yes, still in its like early phase, but like super pumped with how we're going here. All right. Guys, I have 1 minute left and you haven't asked me any questions. I just talked. I hope that this was useful. It was our first time of Molly being like, hey guys, new stuff's happening in Smartsheet. If you are wondering about any of the other functionality, definitely don't hesitate to reach out. We're trying to do more and more. We're getting at least, I believe, one video a week out right now, which is really exciting. Just in case you actually want help, but usually, right? So like, I think I actually have a couple clients on the call or previous clients. So like, We do Smartsheet implementations. We help you know how to maximize this awesome platform and help you help yourself so that you can continue to expand on. So anyways, we have 10 plus Smartsheet certified consultants. We have, I don't know, 100 plus Smartsheet clients. So we've definitely seen lots of different uses of Smartsheet and a lot of different workarounds if you're in core. And we really are ramping up our experience on advanced and all their extra platforms too. But because one of our core values is build self-sufficiency, not dependency, our bread and butter is always the core piece and how you can get as far as you can with kind of the lowest license level. And then obviously Control Center and things like that. If you are using Control Center, by the way, we are doing a webinar next month on how to configure a blueprint in Smartsheet. So that's exciting. If you haven't come and visited us before, and this is your first crazy adventure with Molly, we do regular webinars and we have a YouTube channel. All right, I guess that's it for right now. And so you can subscribe to us on YouTube, and that way you'll see the videos that are coming out. We are a small business, women owned, all that values, good stuff. So like anytime that you can, follow us on YouTube, follow us on LinkedIn. One, you'll get access to our events like this, but also it helps us get our message out and really share our knowledge with this. We're so excited about where low code, no code technology is going. And I'm excited that you joined us here and hopefully you found this helpful and you can share it with your team.